What if I told you the most critically acclaimed show of 2024 isn't even in English? Shōgun just made Emmy history with 18 awards, the most ever for a single season of television. Yet 90% of viewers missed crucial details that change everything about the story. In the next minutes, I'll reveal the entire blood-soaked saga of power, betrayal, and cultural collision that has millions talking, and why the character you thought was the protagonist isn't who you think they are. Part 1. The year is 1600. Japan is on the edge of civil war. A starving crew aboard the Dutch ship Erasmus washes up on Japanese shores. Among them is John Blackthorne, an English pilot with no idea he's just stepped into history's deadliest game of chess. While the local ruler Kashigi Yabushige sees Blackthorne's cannons as valuable weapons, the Portuguese and Jesuit priests already established in Japan see him as a threat that must be eliminated. Immediately, they try to get him executed as a pirate, but fate has bigger plans. News of this strange foreigner reaches Lord Yoshi Toranaga, one of Japan's 5 ruling regents facing imminent impeachment by his rivals. Toranaga is a master strategist who never makes a move without purpose. Let that sink in. Now, Blackthorne's arrival isn't the main story. It's just one piece of Toranaga's larger political puzzle. Within days, Blackthorne finds himself dragged to Osaka Castle, the center of Japanese power. There, he not only meets Toranaga and Lady Mariko, who become his translator, but there's so much more. Part 2. In the second episode Behind Closed Doors, a deadlier plot unfolds. 4 regents conspire to eliminate Toranaga, the only thing standing between them and total control of Japan. But why risk everything to destroy one man? Simple. Many believe Toranaga has a legitimate claim to become shogun, something his enemies will kill to prevent. Toranaga, who's always 3 steps ahead, uses Blackthorne's insider knowledge to expose Portuguese colonization plans. This drives a wedge between his Christian opponents. That night, an assassin slips into Blackthorne's quarters only to find Toranaga waiting instead. The Lord had secretly switched rooms, dispatching the killer himself. Ever wondered what true genius looks like in a life-or-death situation? This is it. I'm curious, if you were trapped in a foreign land where one wrong word meant death, would you side with power or principle? Drop your answer in the comments. Now watch as the trap begins closing, forcing these enemies into the most daring escape in television history. Part 3. Walls closing in. Death imminent. What now? Toranaga executes a gambit so audacious it leaves viewers breathless. Disguised as a woman in his wife's palanquin, he attempts to slip past Osaka's guards under their very noses. When Blackthorne and Mariko realize discovery means execution for all, our English pilot creates a diversion that allows their narrow escape. But freedom remains distant. The harbor lies blocked by enemy forces. Here comes the masterstroke. Toranaga boards the Portuguese Black Ship, the vessel belonging to his religious enemies, negotiating safe passage through sheer force of will. The Portuguese demand Blackthorne be abandoned to die. Instead, the Englishman displays staggering courage, following in a tiny boat and rejoining them at sea. As a reward, Toranaga bestows upon Blackthorne the unthinkable: status as Hatamoto, a personal samurai in direct service. Meanwhile, the clever lord plays his political trump card. He resigns from the council, making impeachment legally impossible. The board shifts, new dangers loom, and no one suspects what comes next. Part 4. Fresh tensions erupt in Ajiro as Blackthorne receives unexpected gifts: a house consort named Fuji, and orders to train Yabushige's forces in Western tactics. But look closer at the hidden game. Yabushige secretly courts both masters, Toranaga's protection and Ishido's favor. When Ishido's messenger arrives demanding loyalty, disaster strikes. Toranaga's hot-headed son, Nagakado, uses Blackthorne's ship cannons to obliterate the envoy, which is a declaration of war disguised as impulse. Night falls, bringing another shock. Mariko, the married Catholic translator, slips into Blackthorne's bedroom, surrendering to forbidden passion before crafting an elaborate lie to hide their encounter. This single moment reveals the show's beating heart. In this deadly landscape, everyone wears masks. Even the most honorable characters harbor secrets that could destroy them. The layers of deception multiply, alliances fracture, And just when you think you understand the players, everything changes. What masks are you wearing in your own life? Sometimes the most dangerous lies are those we tell ourselves. Part 5. The past never stays buried. It waits, patient as a blade. Buntaro, Mariko's fearsome husband, returns unexpectedly. Forced to share quarters with Blackthorne, tensions explode during a drunken night. In a moment of cruel clarity, Buntaro forces Mariko to confess her darkest secret. Her father was Akechi Jinsai, Japan's most infamous traitor who murdered the previous ruler. After his capture, Jinsai was forced to execute his entire family before ending his own life. Mariko survived only through conversion to Christianity. Her marriage to Buntaro? Not love, atonement. Later, hearing Mariko's cries as Buntaro beats her, Blackthorne confronts the warrior. What happens next defies expectation. The samurai calmly sets down his sword and apologizes for disturbing Blackthorne's home. Honor, shame, duty. These invisible chains bind tighter than prison walls. Nature itself intervenes. An earthquake buries Toranaga in a landslide. His unlikely savior is Blackthorne, cementing a bond that will alter history. As dust settles, something fundamental shifts. The struggle for survival transforms into something far more dangerous. Hope. Part 6. Time fractures as we glimpse 1578. Young Mariko befriends Ochiba, daughter of warlord Kuroda, and future mother to Japan's heir. Now in 1600, this childhood connection ignites an inferno. Ochiba and Ishido seize control of Osaka Castle, taking remaining regents hostage under pretense of protecting her son Yaechio. When Regent Sugiyama attempts escape with his family, Ishido's forces slaughter them all, blood spilled that cannot be unspilled. The news strikes Toranaga as his war council pressures him to activate Crimson Sky, his secret battle strategy. Victory would likely make him Shōgun, a position he publicly rejects. But Sugiyama's execution changes everything. In a moment that reverberates through the series, Toranaga finally activates Crimson Sky, claiming his motivation is protection, not power. Is he lying? The brilliance of Shōgun lives in this question. When a master strategist claims not to want the throne, should we believe him? The line between self-sacrifice and ambition blurs. The machinery of war grinds forward and blood calls for more blood. No turning back now. The die is cast. Part 7. Family ties snap under pressure, revealing their true strength. Toranaga meets his estranged half-brother Saeki with disturbing news. Saeki has been offered the vacant regent position. Surrender immediately or face annihilation. In a move that shocks allies and enemies alike, Toranaga announces his intention to surrender. Crimson Sky canceled. War averted. Or is it? Have you ever watched someone you admired seemingly give up everything they stood for? What did you feel? Disappointment? Betrayal? Or did you wonder if there was more to the story? His son Nagakado, blind with rage at this apparent weakness, conspires to assassinate Saeki. During the attempt, fate delivers a cruel twist. Nagakado slips, smashing his head against a stone. Dead in an instant. The price of power escalates. Toranaga's beloved son lies cold. His carefully assembled armies fall into confusion. His surrender looms. Yet something doesn't add up. This master of foresight, this genius of strategy, surrendering without a fight? Remember, with Toranaga, appearances deceive. The true plan emerges from nowhere. Part 8. Sacrifice takes many forms, some more calculated than others. As Toranaga's vassals reluctantly sign a formal surrender, his most loyal general, Hiromatsu, performs seppuku, a ritual suicide, in apparent protest. Then comes the revelation that changes everything. Hiromatsu's death was no emotional impulse, but a carefully orchestrated deception. The ultimate sacrifice to convince Toranaga's enemies his defeat is genuine. The master strategist hasn't surrendered at all. He's repositioning his pieces, including sending Mariko to Osaka as his representative. That move will shake Japan to its foundations. Blackthorne confronts former crewmates about the decisions that stranded them in Japan. Their bitter accusations mirror the show's central question: how much responsibility do we bear for the chaos our choices unleash? Standing before his son's grave, Toranaga makes a solemn vow not to waste the sacrifices made in his name. The clock ticks down. The trap prepares to spring. In the game's final stages, only two outcomes exist: total victory or complete annihilation. There is no middle ground when playing for a throne. Part 9. The ultimate sacrifice rarely announces itself. It arrives disguised as duty. Blackthorne, Mariko, and Yabushige reach Osaka Castle, ostensibly to deliver Toranaga's surrender. When Mariko demands to leave with Toranaga's family members, guards block her path. Her response? Announcing she will commit seppuku at sunset, a political move forcing Ishido to either permit her departure or bear responsibility for a noblewoman's ritual suicide. Ishido eventually yields, granting permission for their exit. That night, in a moment of rare honesty, Blackthorne and Mariko finally confess their impossible love, truth blossoming in a garden of lies. But happiness proves fleeting. Ninja assassins infiltrate the castle, forcing our characters to barricade themselves in a storehouse. As explosives are positioned to breach their sanctuary, Mariko makes a decision that will echo through centuries. Without hesitation, she stands directly before the door, facing the blast that will kill her instantly. Not just a death, a statement. Not just a sacrifice, a catalyst that will reshape Japan. Blackthorne watches in horror as the woman he loves chooses destiny over life itself. Some flames burn brightest just before they extinguish forever. Part 10. Aftermath and Revelation. The dream within the dream finally revealed. In the explosion's wake, the council unanimously votes for war against Toranaga. Blackthorne returns to Ajiro, finding his ship destroyed, and ruthless purges eliminating suspected traitors. Yabushige, arrested for aiding Ishido, receives his final order: commit seppuku by daybreak. Before his death, Toranaga unveils stunning truths. He personally ordered the Erasmus destroyed to keep Blackthorne in Japan. And Mariko's sacrifice wasn't in vain, convincing Ochiba to withdraw support from Ishido before the coming Battle of Sekigahara. As Yabushige performs his final act of honor, Blackthorne begins salvaging what remains of his vessel, aided by villagers and, surprisingly, Buntaro. Talk of former enemies united by shared purpose, if not friendship. From a distance, Toranaga observes his grand design finally materializing. The path to becoming Shōgun, which he repeatedly denied wanting, now lies open before him. The foreigner, the lady, the lord. Each played their vital role in this dream of a dream. But only one emerges truly victorious. Some say the greatest trick isn't defeating your enemy, but making them think defeat was their idea all along. The epic wait for Season 2. Just when you thought the story ended, FX dropped a bombshell. Shōgun returns for not one but 2 more seasons. The staggering Emmy haul and ratings domination forced executives to expand what was meant to be a limited series. Here's the shocking truth: production won't even begin until January 2026 in Vancouver. That's months away and nearly 2 years after Season 1 premiered. Now that Season 1 took over 2 years from filming to screen, if Season 2 follows similar timing, we might not see it until January 2028. That's an almost 4-year gap between seasons. Even cutting production time in half still means 3 years minimum. We're talking about potentially one of the longest waits in television history. So, after everything we've seen Toranaga accomplish, is any wait too long to see what happens next? Personally, I think this might be the rare show worth every second of anticipation. What do you think? Will you wait for Shōgun Season 2 no matter how long it takes? Or is 4 years asking too much? Let me know in the comments below. If you loved this analysis, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more similar content. Adios.